So I'm Ed Williams. I'm the founder of Remote Tribe. We're a digital magazine, a blog for remote workers, mostly digital nomads, people who want to find communities, people who travel the world and work remotely. And I want to invite Goncalo. I'm going to let him introduce himself. I think he's really known in the industry. But still maybe we have people here that don't know him. So Gonzalo, go ahead.
Hey, thank you so much for the invitation. It was super cool. And I think the first time I'm talking about Brazil in public, I guess, except all the written content we do. So I'm Gonçalo Hall. I am now the CEO of NomadX. I work also in the remote part and the digital nomad side. On the digital nomad side, I created the first nomad village in Madeira, Ponta do Sol, a beautiful project I'm in love with, and the second one in Cape Verde, in Mindelo, and the third one in Caparica, south of Lisbon. And now I just landed in Brazil, in the northeast, in a small village called Pipa, to do my first project in South America. And basically, we create communities. I believe that most countries are actually trying to attract and work with nomads in the completely wrong way. And I believe that communities are the key. So I don't make all the promotion. Most of it, I create the perfect conditions for nomads and remote workers to come to these places. And I create the community. So we have like daily events and a lot of stuff happening in all our communities every single day. In Madeira, after 1 year and a half, we have around 50 events per week all around Madeira. So
And
it's quite
are they
massive.
hosted? Are they hosted by your community, or do you have people hosting their events there as well?
All of them. So basically,
Yeah.
we started with our own events. So in the beginning, we had like 10 events per week, and now it's most of them are already from the community to the community. Like we have workshops, we have CrossFit, we have yoga, we have lots of stuff happening every single day. So now it's mostly, I'd say 80% are from the community to the community.
Yeah, that's great. That sounds like there is a good traction on people feeling well there and organizing events for the other people in the building, which is great. That's how co-living should work. I think there should be a balance between people organizing events and also the co-living space itself organizing events. That's what I've seen in my experience when I lived in co-living. So that's a good mix to have always. So let's stick to the agenda, Gonzalo. We can talk about all this stuff maybe at the end, but I just want to know what's the concept of a digital nomad village first of all. When do you think they started to be trendy, and where do you see them going?
Uh, I actually wrote all this as kind of a repopulation project for Italy that failed because they never got it and they never bought the project.
Are we
So I
talking
was
about
in
the
Italy.
famous one euro villas that they were up for
No,
sale?
no, no, no. The structure was the same as we do right now, just with a layer above. So basically, the whole structure was how can we use remote work to repopulate villages in Italy? And I was in this beautiful village in a European project. The village is called Penabili near San
Hmm.
Marino. Up in the mountains, very old, so crazy beautiful, amazing local community. And I just wrote the whole project there as part of the Erasmus Plus project called Interruralship, with the idea of how can we bring digital nomads and remote workers to repopulate this village. They never took the project, so I wrote it. I left it on my Evernote until I went to Madeira and things actually work. And my whole
So,
idea, tell me,
sorry to interrupt. What do you think went wrong there? Why didn't they do it?
they had no interest. I have no idea. Like some governments are more visionary and they understand and they're ready to invest. Others are waiting for things to happen. Others don't even know what they're doing. So I think they fall somewhere in the last two. And to be honest, the majority of the governments have no idea what they're doing. So in my opinion, they were just one of these.
Yeah,
Sadly,
yeah.
because I love Italy. And yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place, and there's so much potential for agro-tourism, for remote working. By the way,
Yes.
there are some Italian entrepreneurs I'm talking to right now, and they're trying to do that in south of Italy. So there are projects here and there, but I don't see any of them coming alive yet. So let's keep an eye on that.
It's
Yeah.
very hard. Honestly, without the government support, I believe it's very, very hard. And the biggest difference is, for example, Madeira. Then this project went to Madeira, and yeah, we built this project in Ponta do Sol, and we don't build the infrastructure. We created or the government supported. So in the example of Ponta do Sol, in terms of accommodation, we use all the accommodation that was there already, the private accommodation, the apartments, the hotels, everything in between, as long as they do monthly deals for nomads. What we built in Porto do Sol, the government built, was a co-working space. So we have a free co-working space for everyone. And this is key. I believe that the co-working space is the key, not just as a place to work, which is important, but even more importantly, as a place to connect. So lots of our events happen there, lots of connections, a lot of random coffee breaks, lots of random lunches. And this is where the magic happens, to be honest.
Exactly.
So we built this whole structure on preparing locations. I love villages. I strongly believe that people will leave big cities to move to villages because they are seeking community, and it's very, very hard to find a community in a big city. We are in the wrong position because Andrew is actually right now in the big city. But I really believe that people will leave big cities to move to smaller places, and I believe that villages have the biggest opportunities of their lives to actually repopulate and become the most interesting places in the world. So because of that, this project has this goal of actually repopulating the village. How we do this, we prepare the place and we prepare the community. Like we always have, besides the events, we have online community. So everything is run or on Slack or on Discord. We organize events, we empower people, we connect people, and the key is the community. That's what we build, community, community, community. So that's what we came here to Brazil to do now, copy the project that we did in Madeira, we did in Cape Verde, and create the first organized community in Brazil.
So are you also working with the government in Brazil? Is it the same? Are you copying the same thing that you've done in Portugal, or is there what's the new element now in Brazil that kind of enables the village to exist?
Yes and no. So this is actually private investment from us, NomadX, in partnership with the government. So we are partners from the national government, from the state government, and from the city government. So there is 3 layers in Brazil, which make things a little bit more complicated. I could wait for actually somebody to invest in the project. We chose not to because my timelines are very strict because I have to be in Madeira, I have to be in Cape Verde, I have to be a little bit everywhere. I need to launch this project by November to make it work in my agenda. So I decided to invest by ourselves, by NomadX, in creating this. We do have all the partnerships with the government in place. They are helping us a lot, actually, in all the connections, in all the structure. Brazil is a new country to us. And yeah, so that's how we are working right now. It's private investment, but always in partnership with the 3 tiers of the government.
That's interesting. It seems like Brazil is really open-minded for this kind of projects. That's
Yeah.
very interesting. Probably even more open-minded than Europe or Asia.
Yes.
Who knows? Yeah.
And they're desperate for this. Imagine Brazil lost part of the tourism in the last 5 years, and digital nomads, in my opinion, are a big opportunity. Also, it's not so easy to build in Brazil. So I guess that's why more people didn't build yet, because right now, when people think about Brazil, they think about it's dangerous, they think about it's chaotic, they think about favelas. But Brazil is such a massive country that's impossible to just say that. It's like I'm in here in the village and it's 20,000 people around the village, super international community, way more than I expected. And everybody is like super cool. They speak English, they speak Spanish, and it's so different than what I expected. So Brazil
So do you
has here a
think,
big opportunity.
like when you talk about international community, why are they there already? Like, is that because of you, or is there anything else happening in that region?
No, people just, it's one of those places like Ponta do Sol where people pass by and they fall in love. They pass by on vacations or for 2-3 weeks. They pass by and they come back and they stay. So I met expats here for 17 years. I just met a French lady, like 65 years old, who is living here for 16 years because she says these people are more happy. I love people. I want to stay here forever. And I was not ready for that. Honestly, I thought people was more like, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of locals, but I appreciate that international vibe. That's why people have so many good restaurants, I guess, because there is people to actually go there every day and eat there. So it was a very pleasant surprise that there is an international community here, both from South America and Europe.
Yeah. I was talking to a Brazilian friend the other day, actually, and it's very funny because she was saying that Brazil is a very international place and they're very welcoming to foreigners. And you've got Lebanese, Japanese, Chinese people. It's a really big melting pot, and it's a very interesting place because they've got their own culture as well. So I think it's definitely a place that's going to attract a lot of international people for sure. And I mean, why that place? I mean, you gave us a few reasons, but why is Pipa, you think, the ideal place? Is it because that's where you found the support, or it's just because it's a very nice place?
So the advantage of not having the government paying me is that I can choose the place. So honestly, the project was first going to a big city to make the first big community like the Lisbon of South America. and the deal fell through, and then I was able to choose the place. So I took like 1 year to find the perfect place. It took me a while. And why Pipa? When Pipa, it's a weird mix between Canggu in Bali, with the little streets, with the local businesses, with the international vibe, with international restaurants, and Mexico. I was in Mexico earlier this year in Tulum and Playa del Carmen. There is no mass tourism here, which is incredible. There is no big chain of hotels, which I love.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have this international vibe. There is super fast internet, which also surprised me. I came here to a random cafe, which is those kiosks in the street, and I asked the Wi-Fi password because I don't have a Brazilian card yet. And I just did a speed test. It was like 200 megabytes. I was like, what's happening? And then I did the same in the beach restaurant, and it was the same 100 megabytes. I'm like, what's happening? Is this the Brazil I was looking for? So we chose people because it's a small village, because it has an international vibe, and because they have all the conditions we were looking for. And the things they don't have yet, we will build within the next 2 months to launch on the 1st of November, which is the co-working spaces. So there is no co-working space yet in Pipa. There is no co-living spaces, but there is a lot of accommodation, which we look into. So we have a mix of posadas, guest houses, hotels, Airbnbs. It's a very nice mix. They are very ready for tourism because they have a strong high season here around January, February. But then most of these places are empty, so there is seasonality, which is good for us and for our market, of course. So all these, it's a mix of all these. It's the culture. There is surf. There's incredible surf here, which is not common in all Brazil, most in the south. There is kite surf. There is longboard. I'm actually doing a longboard class tomorrow for the first time, because it looks like this is one of the top best places in the world to do longboards. Who knew? I did it. And yeah, they have everything. It's like it checks all our boxes, and the only thing that they didn't have, or they don't have yet, is the co-working space, which is quite easy to find the place and build it. So it's the best of all the worlds. It's honestly, it's way better than I was imagining when they chose people. So it shows people based on all this information, based on the feedback. There is a local nomad community here of Brazilians that are living here, and they move around Brazil, and they also fell in love with the place. So I see a lot of similarities with what happened in Ponta and a little bit in Cape Verde as well. These people pass by, they fell in love.
Yeah, probably you're going to attract the Brazilian digital nomads as well. I would expect that. So they should be happy that you're building that stuff too.
Yes, they are, man. I'm connecting with them. They are so cool. They are, like you mentioned that they were welcoming. It's way beyond that. I received more than 100 messages on my Instagram when we announced Pipa, and it was out of this world. And people like giving congratulations, super happy. Most of them from people, like local businesses. It was incredible. The reception was truly out of this world. And Brazilian people.
Yeah, they're known to be very friendly. But let me ask you something. Like that, there was a very interesting article about what's happening in Mexico City, that the local people are upset on digital nomads, that they actually raise the prices. Do you think that can happen there? Probably too. And how do you think the locals will take that and tackle it?
First, I believe that's not true. I believe most newspapers are confusing digital nomads for remote workers. I believe there is a big immigration wave from US to Mexico, ironically, by the way.
And Canada to Mexico as well,
yeah,
yes.
Very ironically, because for a couple of years ago, we were talking about the opposite direction, immigration. And I believe that nomads don't drive necessarily the price up, because as long as we use the tourism infrastructure, we don't put the rents up. But it can happen. It can happen then that these places become so interesting that most people move here. But honestly, that's the goal of the governments. Like, especially in small villages, they lost a lot of population in the last years. They want to grow. I'm not sure about cities. I usually don't work with big cities. But yes, like we are living in this very special moment in history when people from the first time in history can choose where they live regardless of access to jobs. This is massive. So people are moving, and of course, with this such big influx of people moving from place to place, prices will go up in the most interesting places to live. This is happening in Lisbon as well. This is happening in Mexico City. So I think it's more like a immigration problem that is out of control, and also, people take advantage of it. Locals, if they can make more money, they'll make more money.
And also, I think a lot of people will try to take advantage of the geo, the geo arbitrage of the salaries, because we've got inflation in one part of the globe, and then you can go to Asia and just take advantage, because you cannot really live in the West anymore in some of the countries. I was just telling Gonzalo that
Yes.
we, like in London, the rents are somewhere, like a studio is somewhere around £1,700. That's about €2,000 more or less, which
Wow,
is insane
man.
just for a small
Here,
studio.
here for €1,000, I'm now contacting and taking care of accommodation, preparing accommodation for the community. We have like this place where I am is the Posada, and we have 1-bedroom apartments with breakfast for less than €1,000.
Yeah.
We have a 3-bedroom also with pool, but it's an apartment for €900 more or less, converting from reais. So yes, cost of life is an advantage, but because there's already expat community here, I feel that most of the stress was already here in
Yeah.
terms of people already moved here, people already on land. Like historically, Portuguese, I'm learning all this. I didn't know anything about this. Portuguese and English people came here like 20 years ago and bought a lot of land from the locals. And now actually Brazilians from São Paulo and Rio, the two biggest cities, are now buying here from these foreigners that are now living. And
Yeah, it's
Brazilians are actually
hilarious.
buying because they are also moving out from the city.
Very
So
interesting.
yeah, it's interesting places. And of course, prices will rise faster than usual. We are kind of in a bubble with inflation and everything and the war, etc. So I understand where Mexicans come from, but I believe first these norms have nothing to do with it. But second, I think it's a growth pain that some places will have to go through. And the other side will be better because there's more money flowing in the economy, salaries will go up, etc. But we need 3 to 5 years to adjust in some places.
Yeah, I think the government should be looking at inflation. I feel like, remote workers can be a
Yeah.
scapegoat in these cases. I think they're probably the least of the problems. You've got inflation,
Yes.
you've got living, like higher cost of living everywhere in the world. You've got the war. So I mean, it's more complex than that. You can't really blame it on one category.
And you see this, I was checking this, I was writing about this and I was checking, and there are places where the rents went up 50% that have zero nomads there. So it's not as linear as nomads are here, so that it's their fault. No, it's yeah, it's very hard to, and it's very
So,
hard to fight.
mhm,
Sorry,
yeah.
even I, I, I'm trying to see this, but I think it's almost impossible for any village or city to grow without the prices going up.
Yeah, exactly. You've got supply and demand. So if there's more
Yeah,
demand, obviously, you cannot really control that too much. If you start controlling it, you're gonna end up like the flats in Berlin where
yeah,
where you get them without a
exactly.
kitchen or something. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
So what should people expect in terms of the accommodation? The co-working space you said is being built, but what should they expect from the digital nomad village in Brazil?
In terms of accommodation, I'm very happy. So we have all these different types of accommodation. People is really ready. It was tourist destination before, mostly intern tourism and also Portuguese tourism. So the accommodation is ready. We have places, we have a lot of pousadas and guest houses that or have a kitchen or they're pretty much ready.
So
Internet is quite fast and stable.
will you
Tell me.
have shared accommodation and private accommodation
Yeah.
options? Okay.
Yes, on all our projects, we try to have everything. Right now, we have guest houses, we have private apartments, and we are looking for co-living, so which some hostels are adjusting to be a co-living, and they are working as a co-living with even a working space inside. But they fluctuate between the two markets according to high and low season, so it's not ideal yet.
Yeah.
There is no co-living spaces yet, which we would love somebody to build, or we will build them if we find the right place. So far, no co-livings yet. If anyone is in Brazil, want to build a co-living in Pipa, very much welcome.
You just need a small investment, that's all. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just if a new market comes to place, then the services start to adjust. Like there is
What,
the food here is incredible, everything is incredible. Then if more nomads come, the services will adjust.
so people won't be living in one main building. You won't have them spread around the village, yeah?
Yeah, that's the idea. On all our projects, it's not a building. We actually don't build anything. Usually the goal is to partner with the private people that are already there and basically adjust their accommodation to digital nomads. We do also the same with restaurants, like with vegan food and everything. And we do the same with the whole market, like activities. We have kind of a group discount and we do partnerships. So we go to these activities, and here there are a lot of activities. So that's what we do in the preparation of these, making sure that they are ready for nomads, usually improve their internet, usually reduce the prices for being month to month instead of day to day. And it's all spread around the village, which for me is the best part. It's not about owning a place, it's about the whole village. becoming a nomad heaven.
Yeah, and you've got diversity, so people have
Yeah.
different things to do. They don't have to see each other every day, or probably
Yes.
So, yeah. So you've
And
got your own
also
stream.
imagine some people want a full service apartment that costs 1,500 euros. Others want a cheap version and want to stay in a shared room with a friend that costs 400 euros. Both are okay. Like we should really make sure that being a digital nomad is as easy as possible, in my opinion. Like it's not for rich people only. It's not for poor people. It's like it should be. You should have options for the
A
400
lifestyle
euros.
choice. Yeah.
Yes, and you should have options for the 2,000. So we are now more and more looking into these two variants, like from how budget can we go with co-living, with shared house, etc., and how premium of like an experience we can give within the same village. So you own your experience, but the cool thing is, in the end of the day, you will belong to the community, and the community experience is the same for everyone.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because it's a small place, though people will still meet in the village, so it's perfect.
Oh
It
yeah,
sounds ideal to me.
I'm
And in
just here
terms of
for 4 days, and I know already some people just by seeing them in the street, and I'm just here for 4 or 5 days.
maybe it's too small then. I don't know.
No, 20,000 people. It's fairly big and very diverse. But when you live in the like within my streets and the CrossFit gym, and you start to meet people, and yeah, and people come by and say hi, which is really good.
So Gonzalo, did you define the prices already? Do you have the price list ready? So because I see some people are asking about the time frame and the prices.
Mhm.
Do
I'll start
you?
with the time
Yeah,
frame.
yeah.
The time frame will launch officially in the 1st of November. So we are making sure everything is ready. We are building the website. We are building the online infrastructure. So we are building all this to launch on the 1st of November. The price, there is no price. Everything we do is free, literally. So it's basically book your ticket and come, I guess. You have to find your accommodation. We'll help you with that inside our online channel, probably Discord. And that's it. If you book your plane ticket and your accommodation, you are set to go. Then we take care of the events. Some events, of course, will be paid on the weekends, like quad bike tours, etc. Others will be free on the day-to-day basis, like we go to watch sunsets and stuff. But the whole project is free. There is no extra cost for us to organize
So,
this.
but would you help people find accommodation on the Slack channel or
We
Discord?
are listing, yes, we are listing all the accommodation. We will not look for accommodation for you, but we are listing all our partners, so it's easy to access and you can just contact them directly.
And you're opening up the subscriptions from the 1st of November, sharp.
No, it's already open. So right now,
Okay.
if you go to digitalnomadsbrazil.com, there's already a landing page. We can agree that it's not a great landing page, but while the website is being built and launched next week, that's the landing page we have. And you can already register for free. There's a form there, so digitalnomadsbrazil with a z.com, and you will find the form. And then we will announce when the whole online community is ready, which will be next week, hopefully on the 6th or the 7th of September.
Yeah, great. So I see we only have 10 minutes left, unfortunately, because of the Zoom condition we have here, unfortunately. So let's go to the other topics. Someone was asking me if they need a digital nomad visa. How much can Americans or Europeans stay in the village?
3 months.
In Brazil,
so
sorry, 3 months.
everyone can stay for 3 months out of the batch. So you land and you have 3 months of tourist visa for free. If you want to stay longer, then there is a digital nomad visa. For this nomad visa, you should apply outside. So if you are thinking about staying longer, imagine 1 year, go through the digital nomad visa process, you do have to go in person to the embassy of Brazil, whatever you are. So that's kind of not perfect. On the other side, you can then stay for 1 year straight. So if you want to stay around longer, Brazil is an incredible and huge country.
How long can you
can also do
extend?
that.
How long can you extend after the 3 months? Do you have any idea?
No, the tourist visa most of the times is not possible to extend.
So what I can tell our viewers is that there is a digital nomad visa in Brazil. It's about $1,500 and it lasts for a year. So check that out. There's a lot of info on the internet. You can apply probably before going. I don't know how long it takes to get it, but there is a visa where you can stay a year.
I think nobody knows yet. So if anyone tests it, please reach out to me. I'm very keen to learn more. I know the government side, but I want somebody to go through the experience because in other countries we had some issues.
Yeah. We'll open now. If anyone has some questions, I'm just gonna unmute everyone and let's ask Gonzalo some questions, or you can unmute yourself. Yeah. So feel free.
I can answer one here while people are looking for unmuting themselves, which is where in Brazil is this located. So it's in Pipa, P-I-P sorry, BIPA, in the northeast of Brazil. So the weather is quite stable all year round. We have right now in the winter of Brazil 28 degrees. In the summer will be around 32. Summer is our European winter. So it's located in the northeast, small village. You should fly to Natal Airport.
Great, that's very useful. Sabina, go ahead. Sabina, you want to ask a question?
Yeah, I'm trying. Hi, everyone. Do
Hello.
you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm in the garden, so right now, and my camera is not on. I missed actually the talk, and I just attended 3-4 minutes ago. So basically, I don't have any specific questions because you might have already talked about it,
No
Goncalo.
worries.
So
We'll post the recording on LinkedIn and on Twitter. Yeah, no
perfect.
worries.
Yes.
So you'll find out all the
Perfect.
details.
Perfect. Just for the next one then.
Yeah. Next question. Anyone else?
Yeah, can everyone hear me?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, hi, Ebony here. So I do have a travel show that I'm pitching for Netflix called Nomad Generation.
Nice. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really interested about this village. So I kind of wanted to know like how many people. I'm gonna start shooting in 2023. So I'm wondering like how many people you currently have, how many people can I expect to be there? Is it a closed off village, or it's like, I think you mentioned it's open to everyone. Will there be a Selena there, or it's just local hotels? Like, I know I have a lot of questions. Maybe I should have a private meeting with you, Goncalo, but
Happy to.
just trying to get the maximum information here because this is really interesting and it's definitely something I'd like to document and cover.
Awesome. So first, congratulations. I had that idea, but I have no time. I wish you the best and I hope it works because I think we need it. We as a community need to spread the word to the world. So congratulations on that. So first, I will answer all your questions. People, our goal is to have around 200 people, more or less around the year at each given time. So that's what we are preparing to. It can be more, it can be less. I think it will also go around with the high and low season. High season here will be from January, February, and the low season is the rest of the year. So I think probably we'll have a little bit less or not, we'll see. But the goal is to have around 200 people around here. And it's open community. Like we don't make, you register, you come. Like we don't decide, everything is free. It's full anarchy, I guess. And the last one, there is no Selena here yet. I know, not sure if there is anyone from Selena. I know they tried to open here. Somehow real estate wise didn't work, but I know they are looking into people for a while now. But right now I don't know if they actually found a place. So right now there is no Selena, but there are a lot of very cool places already ready to go, basically.
Awesome. And how can we contact you? If I wanted to send you a private email, will you be sharing your information? Because I think I'll have a couple more questions to come.
It's on the chats.
Okay, awesome. Thank you
Nice.
so much.
I'll ask you one last question, maybe, Gonzalo. So how do you see the state of digital nomads in the next few years, and the whole industry and community?
That's a very good question. First, I think it will be normalized. We just hear about this fantastic Netflix show. So this will help normalize the movement, which for a lot of governments, they are right now confused about what's a digital nomad, what's a remote worker, who I'm actually building to. I do believe that most digital nomad visas are not even for digital nomads, for example. So I think we can fix this conversation and actually help the government understand. I just spoke yesterday with the European Union, and they are very keen to also make it easier, even for companies, to legalize remote work and digital nomads, make it easier for everybody. So where I see this going, first I see cities, villages fighting to attract nomads. I think we are there already, but I think Italy, we mentioned Italy before. Italy has such a potential. I think Africa will grow. We have this amazing project in Cape Verde. We're launching again. Like it will be like 800 euros, all inclusive accommodation, co-working, and the community manager. So I think more countries will actually exploit this advantage of people working remotely to grow. I even think that countries in Africa all around will actually see their population grow with remote work, as people don't have to leave the country for economic reasons. They can stay and work remotely to anywhere. So, and yes, in the next 5 years, it'll be a little bit turbulent. People move around a lot. A lot of people choose big nomad hotspots like Lisbon, like Mexico City to live, and this will bring some attraction. But I think when comparing with what mass tourism does to places, we are not even at 1% of the bad impact we have, and we can have much better positive impact. So I think we'll have more projects like ours. Honestly, I think Buenos Aires is in a good direction as well. I think Cape Verde is in a good direction. I really think like we'll see more and more places like these countries trying to bring nomads and actually use this as social and economic impact to grow their whole economy. And honestly, this is the biggest opportunity I saw in the last 100 years for villages, for repopulation, and for actually
it looks like it's the perfect time. Yeah, it looks like it's the perfect time to repopulate, or just it's not the right word. Just yeah, redistribute probably even wealth.
Redistribute.
Yeah,
I love
people.
This. Redistribution. Yeah. I think we'll see a massive population redistribution around the world. Not just nomads. I think nomads will be the 1% of remote workers. We are just
we're gonna have families moving around for sure. Yeah, I mean,
yes.
Yeah, that's another interesting market on nomad families or remote working families, because, you know, why not? I mean, why not?
Oh yeah, no, we see like we have already the first nomad baby born in Puente del Sol, and more to come. We have already 3 weddings in the first year and a half in Puente as well. So things are happening and people are getting together, which is cool. And when you marry someone that's also a nomad, like it's ready for success because you have the same mindset, you have the same freedom mindset. So I think we'll see more and more nomad families as well.
And a lot of interesting people with a lot of interesting backgrounds. I always meet in co-living space wherever I travel. They have so many interesting stories. It's great to meet these people. They're fascinating.
Yeah, I always say this. I grow 10x more since I became a nomad. Like, it's insane because all these people you meet, all these experiences, they're masters of their art, they're masters on marketing, whatever they do, usually they're really good at it.
Yeah.
So just exchanging ideas and experiences completely changed my life, and I grew so much as a person. I would never be a good entrepreneur. And actually, the nomad community pushed me to be an entrepreneur. I was just an employee at a company, at a startup, and they said, no, Goncalo, you need to be an entrepreneur, you need to do this. The community pushed me to actually become who I am today, which is kind of doing stuff with governments.
Yeah. So Goncalo, I wish we talk some more, but we have to shout off right now. Let's do a sequel when the village is ready. I'm gonna call you and we're gonna arrange something to show us around and give us some feedback. Yeah, definitely.
We should be the one with the cell phone and show the village around. I like
absolutely. Thanks everyone. Thanks everyone for joining. I'll post this one on the social networks, and I'll see you soon for sure.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, everyone.
No one. Bye.